Hey guys, today I am going to be telling you about the time I was toxic and deficient in the same mineral at the same time. And I say the time, but this happened to me last week, so this is quite a fresh and interesting topic in my life. But usually you imagine like toxicity and deficiency on like a scale. So you think, okay, there is an optimal amount of some mineral that you should have, and if you don't have enough, you're deficient. And if you're very deficient, you might get symptoms for that. And if you have a bit too much, you're toxic. And if you're very toxic, you might get symptoms for being too toxic. But for me, I had the symptoms of being too toxic and the symptoms of being deficient at the same time. So what did I take? I was taking zinc. So zinc is a very common supplement. A lot of people have taken it to boost their immune system and boost testosterone and things like that. And I'd been taking it for a while. I'd always taken some zinc. But last week I was trying to increase my zinc dose to see what the effect would be. So I got to the point where I was taking quite a lot. I think I was taking probably more than almost anyone watching this would take. And it was having some good effects. I was getting like more energy from it, and my injuries felt like they were healing. And my immune system felt like it really picked up. I had a lingering cold, which was really getting a lot better from it. And it was going really well for about 3 or 4 days. But after I'd taken this for about 3 or 4 days, I started getting nasty low blood sugar from it. So low blood sugar is a side effect of zinc when you have too much. And it occurs because zinc, one of the effects of zinc is to improve glycolysis, which is the action of producing energy from glucose. So if you speed up the glycolysis, then you use up your glucose faster, of which one of the effects is getting more energy, which is good. But another effect is if you use up all your glucose, then obviously you get into low blood sugar, which is not good. So that started happening to me. Like whenever I would take my zinc, about 3 to 4 hours later, I would get in a period of low blood sugar and I'd have to eat a snack or something to recover it. But at the same time, I was still getting a lot of extra benefits from having this zinc. Like a lot of other residual symptoms in my body were healing, and I was feeling noticeable increased benefits every day from taking it, and I still am. So how was I feeling toxic and benefits from taking it at the same time? That doesn't really make sense on the singular deficiency and toxicity axis that I was explaining before. But I figured out what was happening was I was deficient in some areas of my body and toxic in other areas of my body. So zinc basically, I think in your body in total is like 2 or 3 grams of zinc in there. And they're mostly stored in the muscles or the bones or other like organ tissues and such. But what was happening to me was I needed more zinc in my muscles, but I had too much zinc in my blood. And it was the zinc in the blood which was having the effect of using up the glucose. So basically when you take a mineral or a vitamin or anything, the first thing that gets absorbed to is the bloodstream. And it sits around in the bloodstream for a while until it gets diffused to all the tissues where it is needed. And the rate at which it gets diffused to the tissues is called the serum half-life. It's the half-life, the amount of time it remains in the blood serum for. And for zinc, the serum half-life is about 4 hours. So when you take it, it sits in the bloodstream for like 4 to 6 hours or so, while it gradually diffuses into the body tissues. And for me, if I took too much at once, then the level of zinc in my bloodstream was going up too fast, and it was really cratering my glucose levels before it could get absorbed into the surrounding tissues. And this kind of had a real seesaw effect on my energy. So when I would take it and the glucose would get used faster, I would have a lot more energy for a short amount of time, but then my energy would just drop off a cliff and I would just barely be able to move until I ate something. But clearly, once I realised this was what was going on, the solution was pretty easy. The solution was just to take my zinc at more regular intervals. So I just take a smaller dose every 4 to 6 hours So I maintained a somewhat steady amount in my bloodstream over time. And when I figured that out, I was able to take basically the same dose of zinc all the time, but I never really got into the low blood sugar periods. And yeah, I'll keep experimenting with it. I'll let you know what high dose zinc does to me at some point. But otherwise, let me know if you've ever had toxicity and deficiency at the same time. I think it's quite a hard one to recognize, so maybe you had it without realizing. But yeah, if you like the video, subscribe, and I'll talk to you later.